Hello, welcome to episode 9 of the Twin Tell All podcast. I'm Ava.
I'm Aveen.
And thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Twin Tell All. We post reminders of when we have our episodes every Tuesday. And thank you for joining us again for episode 9. How are you feeling, Aveen?
I'm feeling good. Ava and I, for our little weekly debrief, we just came back from Dallas today. And we went home for the weekend because we went to our second wedding ever. And it was so beautiful, amazing, wonderful, slay. It was at this place called Hickory Creek. And if you guys watch it, you guys know you guys already know that we're Bachelor fans. And it was at a Bachelor venue. And it was absolutely stunning, wonderful. And I had so many shrimp and it slayed.
I had so many shrimp.
I had so many shrimp. It was
so
a good.
Great wedding, and it was a very aesthetic. I love that aesthetic.
Oh my God.
The Pride and Prejudice, cute cottagecore aesthetic. And everywhere we were walking, I was taking photos.
It was beautiful, you guys.
The bar had a library. It was a library turned into a bar, and I felt like I was Great Gatsby.
It was amazing. And her wedding dress, it was literally giving bridal mermaid princess queen. It was literally, she looked like her bodice had a seashell finish almost. It was so cool.
It was a really cute,
it was beautiful
wedding. But for today's episode, we got this idea or topic from a listener, and they were interested or thought it would be interesting if we talked about how we decided what we wanted to study in college and how that journey of picking our own independent paths has been like being twins. And I actually have a really funny story, or not funny, but my choice for what to major in college was a little different, I feel like, than Aveen's, because Aveen and I always, so in high school, we had this program called ISM, where if you wanted something to do, you could shadow someone in your area and you could basically be an assistant for whoever's career field you wanted to do. And so Aveen and I kind of always, with the Persian parents, you're oh, they want me to be a doctor. And so you're okay, then I should choose something doctor related because I feel like that's what they all want me to do. And that's what I feel like is good. So I shadowed plastic surgeon. And honestly, it was great. And I
was more obsessed with him than Ava was. So I love Ava's, the plastic surgeon that Ava shadowed was literally the most beautiful, wonderful human being.
He was so nice.
He was literally perfect.
I really liked him. And my Spanish teacher had a crush on him, so every time she would be Ava, when is he coming? And I'd be soon, profesora, soon. And so it was really funny, but he was a really sweet man.
10 out of 10.
And I honestly chose plastic surgery low-key because I liked Botched, which if y'all don't know, Botched is this show on E! Network where two popular plastic surgeons basically do cases where they perform surgeries and fix a plastic surgery operation that's gone wrong for someone. And they're in the LA area. Show. And we saw him in real life. Yeah. We saw the surgeon in real life when we were in California.
We literally saw him at Newport Beach and near Lido. And it was crazy.
Which is my dream location to move.
It was so beautiful. And we literally passed them, you guys. And our family does not know celeb etiquette, and so I feel that
was the first celebrity encounter we have ever had.
And it was legitimate. It was so solid. We were literally the only people there, and then Mom was can I take a photo? So then we took a photo with them, and I could tell that they were super annoyed because it was their date night, and then we saw them again. And then we waved, and they did not even look our way.
Nobody, I feel recognized them, or if they did, they didn't have the audacity to take a photo with them we did. Because honestly, search up, his name is Dr. Terry Dubrow.
Oh my God, he slays.
His wife is a real housewife of Beverly Hills or
I don't know, something.
So they're both famous and they were both there, and it was really funny. Anyway, I did plastic surgery because I watched Botched and it was a really good show. And so I went into my plastic surgeon office and shadowed a plastic surgeon, was okay, this is what I want to do, I think, so let me just be bio pre-med. So it was actually really funny because Aveen and I were auto admits to UT, and we applied to all our schools basically at the same time.
No, literally we submitted the button at the same time.
The only difference between our application was that Aveen applied to biology honors. I didn't apply. I don't remember why.
No, but Ava literally applied and then canceled. Remember?
No, I never submitted. You did. I never submitted.
You wrote. I'm almost positive, Ava. You wrote it and then canceled the honors app.
No, I didn't.
Okay. I remember
I
you
didn't.
did.
I didn't submit anything. I was in the process, but then I didn't end up finishing it. So I didn't submit anything. But anyway, um, she applied to honors and I didn't, but Avina and I applied at the very same time. So when decisions roll around for auto, it's usually like end of December or rolls around to like January, February. And so I remember we were hanging out with our friend Invita. Shout out Invita, and she applied to UT as well. And we were all out to dinner one night, and then we get back in the car, and like you guys, Aveen and our friend both got an email from UT, and it said like congrats or something, you've been accepted.
No, it was literally, so this is the email. So whenever you get your major decision, like we already know we got in, but we didn't know our major. So
Yes.
it was basically like the congrats, like official, like you got your major and everything. And Ava, unfortunately, had not gotten that email. So she started spiraling, thinking that she wasn't going to get into bio when her second choice, I'm pretty sure, Ava can correct me, was literally business.
No, it wasn't even.
Or it was
I didn't
something
even have,
else.
But that was the thing. I was getting very worried because Avina and Invita got an acceptance and they had to secure in their major. And like I wasn't rejected from my major. I just didn't know what it was. So I got scared that they weren't going to accept me into biology and I'd have to be undeclared or do something. Like I was just
keep
stressed
in mind,
out
like
about
one, Ava was very qualified, and two, bio is the most abundant major. Like being a bio major is not it's not like comp sci, right? Like it's not like comp sci where it's like something extremely competitive to get into.
Avina and Invita got it, especially because they got their email at the same time and we all went to the same school and everything, I was just a little worried. So that gap between figuring out if I was accepted into this major, I was kind of second guessing picking biology because I was like, I'd always been interested in business, and I had just talked to my plastic surgeon mentor dude about how, what do you recommend? And he was like, I would recommend not majoring in biology if you want to go to med school because it's so science focused, and I wish I would have done something that wasn't science focused. So I was like, oh, maybe this actually will work in my favor if I don't get in. Anyway, long story short, I got into biology finally at the end. But whenever we went to our advisor meeting for orientation, I was asking my advisor then and there if I could switch to business before even setting foot on campus. I was like, I want to do business. Yeah. And he was like, I don't want to say this to ruin your like mood or like to judge if you're capable or not, but most people don't get into business. Like he was telling me basically that he wouldn't let his own son come to UT because if he wanted to change his major, it's so hard to do so. So that made me scared before I even got on campus because he was telling me it's not like good or whatever to change your major. Anyway, I came to college and he was like, if you want to transfer at UT, like the hard schools are like business and comp sci or whatever. But basically, he told me to take my classes and then transfer in. I was taking a SLAY econ class, micro econ, while taking science classes, and then transferred in at the end of my freshman year to business. And I don't do pre-med anymore.
Yeah. And that is the story of Ava's coming of age to business. Yeah. And like what was super funny as like an outsider watching this was like Ava went from like the lowest of like it was so like roller coastery. Like she was so sad that she didn't get into bio, but then the minute she got into bio, she wanted to transfer. So it was
that's like the epitome of
like
me,
literally
though.
Ava's personality, you guys, like she is the most hilarious thing. Like let's say Ava has a goal, okay? And she's so nervous about achieving her goal, okay? And then she achieves it, and then she gets nervous that she achieved it. And I'm like, what are you even doing? Like, I don't understand. Like, what do you want? I'm like,
did I even need that goal?
Yeah,
did I even want that goal?
She starts like spiraling after. I'm like, this is so weird. Like, yeah, it's just so weird. And so Ava pretty much, and like the other thing is it was just like this weird pressure. And I don't know if anybody else ever feels this pressure, but it's like, Ava to her core did not want to be a science person. Like she really didn't want to be.
Well, it wasn't about me not being. I think the thing that bothers me though, the thing that bothers me though sometimes is like I always get scared because school to me is not like I don't associate enjoyment from it. Do you understand what I mean? Like every time I do a task and people are like, choose something to study that you like, I literally don't view school as a like, but as a task. Like,
Yeah,
I study
okay.
the subject as best as I can, and I get the grade that I work for, and it's done. Like, I've never ever been in a math class and been like, wow, derivatives. Like, I just don't.
Well,
And like,
I don't
or like
know.
in biology, like that's the other thing that made me know that biology wasn't biology.
Biology.
The biology wasn't for me, because so I'll be studying, like Avina and I took the same classes freshman year, like we took the same chem class. So like we would be studying something and Avina would be like, Ava, look at how this gill emits the carbon dioxide from the side of the inner respiratory system. And I literally studied that same topic last semester in like one unit, and I could not give less of a crap about it, basically. And Aveen was so interested, and I'm not shitting on you for being interested on it. I'm just saying, like,
fine.
Aveen was interested in this stuff, but to me, it was like, yeah, it's cool, I guess, but I don't really love it that much. Or like, I'm not really driven. And like every unit, it was like, okay, now we're gonna learn about hydrophobic bilipid layer, you know? What is it called? I've studied this like 30,000 times. A phospholipid bilayer, right?
Good job, Ava. That's so good.
Yeah. So I was like, I have to study this now for the 10th.
But it's nice
time.
though. But it's nice, like as Aveen watching you, right? Like Ava's our interests are so funny when it comes to school. Like, you guys, I'll come home and I'll be like, Ava, like, look at this molecule. Like, isn't this cool?
Molecule.
And then like Ava will be like, Aveen, guess how big the size of Zara's warehouse is. And it's like, there's things that like Ava, I could not give like two craps about that Ava's talking about. Or like she'll be like, so like you see like this event, like, or this person made like $8 billion, or like there's this case going on. And it's like, I can see that Ava's genuinely in some capacity enjoys talking about some of this new stuff that she's learning about in business. And she just absolutely did not have that when it was in bio. So it's like, it's nice looking at that, because you would never come home from your intro bio and be like, oh, like we just learned about like stoma, or like, and like stuff like that. Like Ava never did that, but now she'll like come home, she'll be like, Aveen, like in my sports management class, like we talked about this. So it's like, I know that you like it a little bit more.
Yeah, that's actually a great point, because that's, and it's not to say like if you're not doing that you're not in the right path.
No,
but I guess like I saw this video online, and it was like someone told somebody that what you do when you procrastinate should be your job. Like they said something like, when you're sitting down and like, let's say what you do in that time should be what you do for work. But that doesn't really make sense, because people are like, so I should disassociate from reality.
I should just evaporate. No, because I disagree with that. I think what they're trying to say though is that like your de-stressor, right? So it's like, let's say like you, like instead of doing school, like you in your free time like to like, shout out me, make tote bags, or like shout out me at me,
yeah, like do art,
like do art stuff. Like I
stuff.
understand that, but like this is the other thing, you guys, like I am so for doing your passion. Like you 100% need to pursue your passion and stuff like that, but there are some cases, some points in time where it's like I feel like in some ways everybody's restricted by reality. Does that make sense? Like I know there's people out there who are studying medicine or studying, business or comp sci and stuff that have other exterior passions that they could make a career out of, but the stability that comes, like it has to be like, do you value like stability, or do you value doing what you love? And I feel like that, especially when you come to college, like a lot of people are like, oh, like choose what makes you happy, choose your passion, choose this. But it's really hard to do that sometimes when in some cases what you're passionate about doesn't align with other core values that I feel like you're looking for out of your career.
But that makes me so sad sometimes.
Yeah, it
like
does.
I feel like it's really sad when I see someone that like loves to be a fashion designer and their parents want them to be an engineer.
Listen,
like those people would make the best fashion designers on the planet.
I remember I was sitting in office hours one day in physics, and this like super, super, super sweet girl, okay, I don't know her name, she came and she sat down next to me, and she was literally talking to me about how she was like a psych major, and she was psych pre-med. She absolutely hated psych. She hated physics. She hated everything. She hated her entire major. And the only reason why she was doing bio pre-med or whatever was because of the fact that her parents told her, I will like not support your education at all, support you academically at all if you decide to do anything else. And I told her, and she was like, what do I do? And I was like, oh my God, like that's really heavy stuff. One. Two, you're like, her parents were just extremely unsupportive of her. She wanted to be a fashion major, actually, completely unsupportive of that. And what I told her to do is, I kind of did this last semester when I really wanted to take an art class in conjunction with everything else I had going on, but it's like it was too much. You reach out to professors low key, like outside of their normal schedule time, and you're like, hey, my name is XYZ, like I'm XYZ, I sound like dad. My name is ABC, and like I'm super passionate about art and stuff, but it's like I haven't really been supported in this. Like, can I meet with you? And can I show you my stuff?
It's not
like there are, but listen, Ovid, the reason why I told her to do this, and I'm pretty sure she did, is the fact that professors like want to help you. Does that make sense? They're at school because they hopefully love to teach kids. So if a kid is coming up to them being like, oh, like I really want to learn from you, you really think the professor's not going to help?
No, but that's not even the professor problem. That's the fact that the parent doesn't even let the kid pay.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But what I'm saying is...
But, like, I'm saying you get a best of both worlds. Like,
yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, she had to decide. She couldn't. Like, I told her, I was like, is there any possibility that you could go up to your mom and be like, hey, I'm going to switch into fashion? And one, that she doesn't find out. And two, if she does find out, she doesn't completely, like, kick you out. And she was like, no. And so
there was another story because in my BA class we had like a who are we speech at the beginning of the semester, and that was my favorite part of the class, because I feel like when you're at school and you're like going to class, you don't really know a lot about your classmates, especially in biology, really, or in STEM
like
classes.
Literally,
like,
I try to make friends.
Anyone. I know you try to make friends.
Literally
and people don't talk.
No,
but like in business or like in class, you're not going to really get to know the people next to you unless you become rare close friends with them, and that is very rare. In business, it's like I feel like when we're in class, the presentations, those are my favorite part, because one of my favorite things is learning about people and realizing like, oh damn, like I had a completely different view of who I thought you were and what you really are. Like your example, like this kid in my BA class was like, I'm an accounting major, but I hate accounting. And he said that in front of the class. Like, I think that's so boss energy. He's like, I hate accounting. I hate doing this. I'm only accounting because my uncle is, but I love to make music. And then he's like, I want to be a rock star, and I want to be a producer, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. And I think it's so, so amazing and cute when I see people like that. And that's why it makes me so sad, because it's like, if they could do it, like, even that's why, like, I don't understand why you can't just let your kid do it and fail. Does that make sense? Like, the risk,
because listen, they won't. That's the thing. Like,
but the risk
won't.
Is literally they go and do it, they fail. The reward, they could be the next freaking Bon Jovi or whatever. Bon Jovi? I don't know if he's even rock. But you know, like, that's the thing. It's like people, like, I saw this video of Tate McRae. You know, I went to her, oh yeah, I forgot to say this. I went to her concert last week. I forgot. That was like a very big highlight of my week or whatever. Really great person. Really, she just seems nice. I love it when celebrities act like normal people. Side note. And she was like, I remember when I was trying to make music or whatever, everyone was making fun of me, and everyone was saying like, whoa, why is she doing this? And like, she was getting looks, and she was getting like those kinds of looks from people. And now she's younger than me. She's going on tour across America, and she's making music and doing what she loves. And imagine if her parents told her, you can't be a singer, you need to go and study medicine.
No, it literally doesn't add up. And it's like, I don't know, not everybody's like this, but like, I agree. Like, it can be, I wish that everybody, hopefully in some capacity, whether that's, you know, after college or in some ways, has the ability to like pursue what they want. And it's like, that kind of segues into like, I guess you'd said your journey. But the reason why I kind of chose medicine was, I guess, in some ways, because of the fact that I never really imagined, like, I have a lot of different, like, Ava's always been the type of person where she's always just kind of stuck to one thing. Growing up,
yes, I hate changing. Like, that's why sorry to bust in real quick.
No, it's fine.
But that's why, like, when I was doing, like, that's why I was so freaking scared when I changed business. because I don't change things normally. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, and so, but growing up, like, I was always the one that was like, oh, I want to be like a marine biologist. I want to be a pet
Remember?
stylist.
Yeah,
I
we
wanna
wanted
be a
to be
fashion
a
designer.
pet fashion
I want to be an
designer
artist. I want to
when
be
she
this.
was younger.
Yeah,
That was
and it's
so
like I just
cute.
kind of wanted to do everything. And it's like the one thing though that I've always loved was art. Like, I loved that. And that's always kind of been a constant. But it's like I also really wanted to do medicine because, again, I feel like the whole, like, part of it was what Ava was saying earlier, how like mom and dad really just like said being a doctor is great, and like being kids who wanted to please our parents, we were like, okay, we'll be doctors or whatever. But it's like I actually genuinely feel like I really want to become a doctor, even though that whole journey is just like crazy. And it's like also in some way in capacity, I feel like it's I'm still on the process of trying to figure out and confirm that this is actually really something that you want to do, because it is such a commitment. And the problem, in my opinion, with the way that universities set up, and even like medicine in general, like, you can shadow physicians, you can work in the field, you can do that. But until you're actually that person, you really truly have no idea what it's like. You know what I mean? You have no idea what it's like, especially journey wise, to getting there. And I feel like that's the most scariest part, because you're still kind of going into it blind. And so you just kind of have to do whatever you can in the moment to make yourself feel like you're ready. And then you just kind of have to go for it at that point. That's just at least my opinion.
I also want, like, when we were talking about like business or whatever, and like I like don't know what I'm passionate about either. Like, that's the problem. Like, I hate the idea of picking what I like. Like, I'm being honest. I'm being honest.
Yeah, I know what you
Like,
mean.
I hate the idea of thinking like, do I like something? Because then I'm like, I don't even like it that much.
No, that is
Like,
literally
that's just
Ava.
me.
Like,
Like-
Ava's literally like, oh, I like this, but like, do I?
But like, do I? And then someone's like, oh, like, you really like it, right? And I'm like, wait, I'm second guessing if I even like this. I don't know. I guess I'm just overthinking the wrong thing. Anyway.
Everybody's doing their own thing. Nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, so Aveen's a hashtag Pee-wee pre-med, and I'm a business major.
Ava's a Macomb snake. But yeah, basically that was kind of like the vibes. And like, I don't know, it's still so like, it's still, the crazy part is that like, we are literally at that point in life where everything's getting really real. Like,
Yeah.
everything's becoming super serious. And like, what are your next steps?
Yeah,
It's like,
this
babes,
lady-
I've barely walked. I've barely like taken 2 steps, and now it's time for like it's like, it's almost, you guys, like, to me it feels like, I've told Ava this, like, you're at that stage where you feel like your hand is under the water in the ocean, and you feel the vibrations of at least this is my opinion, I feel the vibrations of a tsunami coming. And I feel
Not the
and it's like,
Bethany
literally,
Hamilton
listen,
Soul Surfer
listen!
reference.
The real ones know. And it's like, I'm serious though. Like, I feel a tsunami coming, and it hasn't hit me yet, but like, it's coming. I feel it, and I know it's about to come.
No, I feel like more like
And it's like
feel like I've
impending
been
doom type thing.
Like, I can't imagine myself working an office job and being a person, but that's closely my
literally what you're
reality.
gonna do.
Like, this lady was like, what year are you? And I was in an area with a lot of freshmen for some reason, because like, it was I don't know. And I was like, I'm a junior, and she goes, oh, so you're done almost. And I'm like, yeah.
No.
As soon as the Google form starts going past halfway,
that's so
yo.
true. That's so true. No, I literally applied to something, and I was like, junior, and I was like, whoa, there's literally only one space. Like, there's literally
I feel
one
like
space.
Junior is the worst year of every school.
It sucks, bro.
Like junior, I feel like junior year gives the same energy as third grade. That gives the same energy as seventh. You know, like, it's like, ugh. Like, junior, like,
No.
freshman is like, yeah, and then sophomore's like, and then senior's like, peace out, like, I'm gone.
done.
But junior is like, ugh, like an
It
icky
gets
year.
because everyone suffers, bruh.
Yeah.
Everybody's suffering. Nobody's having a good time. Yeah, no, but it's true.
Junior year just sucks.
Yeah, and I feel like that's, on that note, bye.
On that note, bye.
No.
Yeah, so hopefully y'all enjoy listening.
Okay, we promise
To
next
us.
episode's gonna be a little bit more positive.
Yeah, we're gonna be a little bit more positive, but hopefully y'all enjoyed this story. We didn't even really talk about why you did medicine.
No, it's
Do you want
okay.
to explain more, or are you good?
It's okay.
You're good?
No,
You know
but like
what?
basically, yeah, I know.
But I think you give a really good example though. Aveen gives a really good example in my eyes, at least, of someone who's doing medicine for the right reasons.
Thank you.
Like,
Ava.
I think you're the only person I've truly met. Maybe that's because I was surrounded by
Well,
other medicine
okay, this is my
people.
thing. Here, I'll say this. My problem, okay, with being a pre-med in some ways. I have met some of my best friends in my college, right? Like people who are very similar to me, who I feel really like, most of them are older than me, but like they've already graduated and like gone through the whole med school, they're med school bound or whatever. And like they kind of went through the whole process, and they actually genuinely, I know that they're going to make amazing doctors because they actually did it because they in their heart felt like that's what they're meant to do. But I feel like there's a lot of people that I'm still friends with right now that are in that kind of bubble, but like they're not like very inviting, they're not very warm, they're kind of like harsh a little bit. And like whenever I go up and talk to them, like it's very obvious to me that they're looking at me as like some sort of competition. Like I remember I was talking to someone, Ava, and I know this was a joke, but it was still weird a little bit to me. I was talking to them, I was like, hey, and I was talking about you. And she was like, oh, like, do you have a twin sister or whatever? And I was like, yeah, like my twin sister was like pre-med, but like she transferred to business. She goes, oh, thank God, like one more less. Like one more, like one
Are
less
you serious?
swear to God.
How?
Like
they said that?
Yeah, they said that. They were like, oh, like one less, like we can't have too many. Like as if like, you know what I mean? And it's like, bro, like it's really like, it just like becomes
so weird.
so like competitive for no reason. And it's like people like try to downplay how much they're actually doing. Like I'll like, if someone asks me like, oh, like what are you doing, like what have you done and stuff, like I'll tell them transparent, point blank, period. But it's like, and it gets reversed, or I'll like, I clearly look tired. Like I am doing a lot this semester, and it's like I'll come to class and I'll literally look like a zombie, and people will come up to me and be like, are you tired? And I was like, yeah, I'm really tired. And they'll be like, oh my God, like same. And I'm like, okay, whatever, like I know you're not that tired. Or it's like they'll try to like emulate and like one up you on everything that you do. Like I'll literally be like, yeah, I went to lab for like 2 hours today, like I'm exhausted. And they'll be like, no, like literally I was in lab until 4 a.m. last night. Like same. Like girl, bye. Like it's really like, and then they'll be like, I hate it though. Like no, you don't. Like if you were in lab, Ava, from 10 to 4 in the morning doing your reactions, do you really think you hate it that much? Like you could be going home. Like this
I
isn't
hate
even
it that much.
No, but like when you're going at night from like 10 to 4 a.m., like you're not forced to be there. Like you have to go on your own volition. Does that make sense? Like no lab
like
time.
it's voluntary.
It's like literally like you're nobody's asking you to go do that. You're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like if you really hate it that much, like you can go on the weekend. Like it's not like
I just think it's weird that they're
know.
talking about competition when in reality you guys aren't. Like, what does that even mean though?
Although what it means is like part of the problem is the fact that everybody like in this whole like med school sphere, they've told us that like we have to compete against everybody else, and it's the person with the best MCAT score, the most volunteer hours, the most clinical hours that are going to be the ones who are going to make it. But they don't realize that it's at the end of the day, it's like you like Ava and I always say, if it's meant for you, it'll happen. Like it doesn't matter whether or not you have 25 bazillion like hours of this. Like if you genuinely into your bottom of your heart feel like you want to do it, once you actually get to medical school, that's also going to be the differentiator. Like it's not like you're just going to get in and then like
I just think
like you know what I mean. Like if it's meant for you, you'll do it.
Taking it so damn seriously.
Yeah.
Like why are you doing that?
And it just sucks.
And it's not.
Like,
that's the other thing. It's not just in medicine. It's in business too. But like obviously, medical people deal with it differently than like business people. But if you are listening and you are struggling with comparison or feeling deflated, just know that everyone deals with it.
Every single person has been in that shoes.
You should never, ever, 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 ever compare your life ever. # never. Never say never. Never say never.
Okay, yeah, continue.
Never compare yourself to someone else because A, they don't have your brain. B, they don't have your face. Well, if you're a Veen, you do. D, they don't have your mind. E, they don't have your body.
Like everybody's so different.
G, they don't have.
Okay, we get it. We get it.
30 letters.
No, but like
what you're saying is they don't deal with the stuff you deal with. So why are you ever comparing yourself to someone else? And at the end of the day, what's meant for you will come for you. And and believe in the power of manifestation and believe in the power of your destiny, because as soon as you start looking at life as everything working towards you and not against you and you having to fight for stuff, life becomes more beautiful.
Yay. And yeah, and
what a great way
yeah,
to end, unless you have something else to
yeah.
say.
And then I was just gonna also say, like, the other thing is just, like, again, everybody's gone through the same feelings that you have. The best thing is to reach out to somebody and
Not even
diffuse the
that.
stress.
Sometimes I
Honestly,
like being alone.
Yeah, but like, I'm just saying, like, if you're really feeling a lot of pent up anxiety,
Yeah.
it's extremely helpful to release that pent up anxiety and voice it, because over time,
Yeah.
at least for me, like, if I don't find some outlet, even if that's to myself, it boils over and it's counterproductive. Like, it really is. And so just find someone that you feel like you can reach out to. If you can't, just know that you're strong enough to handle it, and that if it's meant for you, like Ava said, it'll happen. So yeah.
Yay.
Okay,
Hashtag God bless.
Okay. Hashtag bless if you're not
Hashtag
religious
bless.
either.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll be back next week. I think next week we have a special guest.
We have special guests.
We have a
plural,
special
maybe.
guest.
If the scheduling works out, we might have special guests, so tune in.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yay, bye.